This Jeffrey Epstein story is not going away for Donald Trump and the Republicans. Donald Trump banged on this. He campaigned on this. MAGA influencers campaigned for Donald Trump on this. But now, once things started rolling, Donald Trump and the Republicans all want to shut it down. Back in February, Bondi said the files are on our desk. We're going to release it. And then all of a sudden, these MAGA influencers had their little binders up because they had some files, and this all happened back in February. Now, all of a sudden, the Republicans are the ones that want to shut it down. Highlight it. Let's shine a light. And then when we start talking about it, people are like, what if Democrats are on it? Bill Clinton, blah, blah, blah. All right, bet. Still shine a light. Shine a light. So this is what's going on right now, because y'all know that Little Mike, MAGA Mike Johnson, back in July shut down the House of Republicans early to get away from all of this Epstein talk. They came back in session. They're in session right now, and they're still trying to find a way to keep all of this quiet. The Epstein survivors are now front and center. This woman right here, Lisa Phillips, she says, I would like to announce today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who are regularly in the Epstein world. So Thomas Massie, who got on Donald Trump's bad side because he wouldn't sign off on the one big beautiful BS of a bill, he said, F it, I ain't got nothing else to lose. He posted this tweet today. He says, the White House says, helping me secure a vote to release all the Epstein files is a hostile act. They're threatening anyone who helps bring true transparency and justice for the survivors. This is a tacit admission the Oversight Committee data release is woefully incomplete. All right, so let's look at this screenshot. It says, in response to Massie's comments, a White House official told NBC News in an email, helping Thomas Massie and liberal Democrats with their attention seeking while the DOJ is fully supporting a more comprehensive file release effort from the Oversight Committee would be viewed as a very hostile act to the administration. Why is this a hostile act to the administration? The administration that includes Donald Trump, who said that he was going to release all of the files. Why is this a hostile act? The Tesla hillbilly responds to Thomas Massie saying, the thing that puzzles me the most is how the entire MAGA base was shouting from the rooftop during the presidential campaigns to release the Epstein files. But since Trump changed his tune, they now criticize you and others for pushing for said release. Makes no sense. It really just reveals who the critical thinkers are versus those who follow blindly. I say this as a strong conservative, and this is the Tesla hillbilly. All right, cool. Ed Krasenstein says, I disagree with you on a lot, but thanks so much for standing up for what's right. You deserve a ton of credit. So this person, Bog, says that Goose meme applies here. The Goose says, you said is a hostile act against you to release the Epstein files. Here's Trump running away. And in his case, it would be kind of slightly waddling in a zigzag line away. So here's Trump zigzagging away. And the Goose is saying, how is it a hostile act? How is it a hostile act? And I'm wondering, how is it a hostile act? Marjorie Taylor Greene is on with Thomas Massie. She says, I'm committed to doing everything possible for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, including exposing the cabal of rich and powerful elites that enabled this. I'm proud to be signing Representative Thomas Massie's discharge petition. Now, he's going to need about 6 Republicans in all, I believe. So far they have at least a good 4. They have Nancy Mace, I believe. So this is her. She's walking away, and she didn't take any comments after meeting with the victims for 2 hours yesterday. But other GOP leaders are saying, don't get on board, which is weird because these people care so much about kids. They care about kids and drag queens and people having books that are too woke and all of that. But they don't care about victims of Jeffrey Epstein and all of these people that might still be alive and victimizing others. House GOP leaders are urging their members to steer clear of the discharge petition, aiming to force the Trump administration to release all the government files on Jeffrey Epstein. In a closed-door meeting in the basement of the Capitol, Speaker Little Mike Johnson called on GOP lawmakers to instead support the efforts of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee, which is seeking more disclosures on the Epstein case from the Justice Department, the Epstein estate, and the former federal law enforcement officials who worked on the case. So that is where the MAGA Republicans are. This Politico article does overlap somewhat with that Hill article, but there's a piece that I wanted to get to in this. Massie implores GOP colleagues to help force vote to release Epstein files. Thomas Massie is publicly pleading with his Republican colleagues to break rank with the GOP leaders and join his crusade to force a vote on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Like I said, I'm skipping some of this. It says Massie's effort at one point seemed all but guaranteed to succeed, but is taking a hit amid pressure from the Trump administration to stand down, and as Republican leaders point to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee's success so far in compelling the release of the Epstein-related documents through a separate subpoena. At the bottom, this is the most comprehensive investigation into Epstein and Maxwell to date, House Oversight Chair James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, said on Wednesday morning at the GOP leadership's press conference. He also said that the Epstein estate would begin turning over materials on September 8th in compliance with another subpoena that would, among other materials, compel the release of a birthday book that reportedly includes a letter from President Donald Trump to Epstein. So are they going to give this stuff to Republicans, to MAGA Republicans? That means that if they did this stuff probably wouldn't see the light of day. But Massie countered that the Oversight Committee route is essentially allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. He noted that the first batch of materials unloaded Tuesday night included an overwhelming number of redactions and consisted almost exclusively of information that has already been made public. MAGA Republicans are still trying to make everything clear as mud. Massie's bill, in contrast, would provide fewer opportunities for the Trump administration and White House allies on Capitol Hill to slow walk the process of making the Epstein files public. Whereas the Justice Department is handing over materials piecemeal, Massie's measure would require the DOJ to turn over nearly all of the information in its possession around Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is now serving a 20-year prison sentence for her part in the ex-trafficking scheme within 30 days. He said, if you're about it, let's do it. Shine a light. Let's do it now. Stop trying to do it one piece of paper at a time. I went over to Donald Trump's Live Social page to see what he is talking about. Everybody is talking about Epstein. This is what he's talking about. Tell Hamas to immediately give back all 20 hostages. That was the first thing I saw when I opened up his page. And then what he said last thing yesterday was talking about President Xi of China. He is mum on this. And I saw this tweet from Blue, Georgia. It says, every major network is carrying the Epstein victims press conference except Fox News. And so you see we got CNN, we got C-SPAN, we got MSNBC, we got, maybe that's ABC, and I don't know what that is down at the bottom. But right here, Fox News has Trump and the Polish president talking about something. Trump has Fox News on lock as far as propaganda. Trump is not posting this stuff. MAGA influencers aren't really talking about this stuff either, except I actually did see Charlie Kirk was talking about this stuff as well. It's very interesting, though, how quiet these people are. Trump and Fox might be really quiet because of something like this. So Brian Tyler Cohen says, wow, an Epstein survivor just revealed that Jeffrey Epstein's biggest brag was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. I mean, that becomes a duh, most of us knew that, but still, if this is in black and white and we finally get to see something, finally get to hear from these women and they make it clear, it's going to be very interesting. Remember when Donald Trump, back in July, he was really trying to calm people down about the Epstein files, and they just would not go away. Everybody was talking about it, and then he went to his social media to say, What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals? Well, this is a scene. This is a scene from that talking point. What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals? I do want to remind us all of the lie social post from Donald Trump. I'm going to read this whole thing, and this is just a reminder of how Donald Trump was writing even back in July. Whoever's writing for him right now is not doing a good job of copying him. The press office of Gavin Newsom is doing better at mocking Donald Trump than whoever is supposedly doing his lie social post right now. But let's talk about this one from back in July just so we can remember. What's going on with my boys and in some cases gals? They're going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we have had, securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years. And we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing with 2024. That's what she is looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, that is how Donald Trump really writes. Whoever is typing up his stuff right now is doing a terrible, terrible job. They really need to just kind of study how he's been talking and then, try to continue to mimic this. I do want to remind us also that he said if his MAGA people are talking about Epstein, they are former supporters. They no longer support him. And I think he also called them stupid, I believe, for talking about Jeffrey Epstein, even though he campaigned on Jeffrey Epstein. So we just needed to see this again. This happened back in July.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.